renting your apartment's $2,500 or whatever it is for a flat. You know, you can't even have a girlfriend, much less a family, right? And you know, you go to Section 8, say, hey, look, this issue, that issue, and hey, you know what, I need help. I can't afford it. I'm going to be out on the street. Okay, well, we'll pay this amount, 90% or something, forever, as long as you're poor and on a minimum wage job. And it goes in the pockets of fat cats. It goes directly to the landlord. They don't even give it to the recipient, those that need housing, like food stamps, those that need help with their food costs, right? It goes directly to them. They could compete in the open market, in the supermarket. They say, well, I'm going to buy generic. That's competition. That's capitalism at work. Do they do that with the Section 8 housing money? No. It's a huge bureaucracy. Do you understand? All these people working in it are getting paid a lot. And then all the landlords, property management companies, speculators, flippers, investors, okay? Or do you understand how this thing works? They all profit from it. And then they use that to raise their price. They say every time minimum wage goes up, man, I'm taking that. Yoink. I'm raising it because I know Section 8 will only pay this much, is guaranteed. But I know that recipient of that Section 8 voucher, they can afford a little more. I'll take another $50. You got $50 increase in your minimum wage. I'm taking that. You get how outrageous this is? And nobody's talking about, nobody's trying to educate you about how much cheaper it'd be. I'm a fiscal conservative. Do you know how much cheaper it'd be to buy people houses? And you're done and done? Apartment complexes. Give it away. Say, maintenance, you're on your own. Tough. We gave you enough. That's it. You pay your own property taxes, too. Do you know how much? God, how stupid are we as a society? We call this a civilized society. You want to know what supply and demand, free market capitalism produces? The VCR. In the early 80s, nobody could afford a VCR except the very rich. Everybody was renting them. $1,000 for a decent VCR. Of early 80s money. That was a down payment on a house. In the early 80s. Do you get it? What's a down payment on a house now? So you want to know what that $1,000 was worth back then? For that VCR? What's a house? What do you pay, $300,000 even here in Northern California? That ain't going to need at least 10% down, 30 grand. That's how much it was. So imagine if VCR costs had stayed up with housing costs. Be paying 30 grand for a VCR. No, but by the mid-90s, because of capitalism, because of free market supply and demand, you could get a VCR on sale for $50 of early 90s money, which by then it cost $200,000, $150,000 maybe here in Northern California, $100,000 at least to buy a house. So $10,000 still it costs you to put down payment on a house, but the VCR now costs you $50. How does that work? Why didn't housing prices correspond with VCR prices? It's called market manipulation. It's collusion, massive collusion, silent collusion. They don't have to talk about it. Everybody knows which side their bread is buttered on here. If you're in the real estate industry, if you're in the government and you realize, hey, the higher real estate values go, guess what? The higher our tax base goes, and cha-ching, that means raises, right? You can put two and two together. A child can understand this stuff. So the motivation is clear, and that's fascism. When the government, these employees that we the people hire, the taxpayers hire these people to serve our interests, and they stab us in the back and they serve their own interests, that's fascism. City, county, state, federal. Is anybody out there in the mainstream media talking like me? Any exposés? Any documentaries? Who's talking about this stuff? I don't hear anybody talking about this stuff. I am. What is Trump? Is Trump a coward? What's wrong with him? What's he doing about the Federal Reserve getting them on a leash? Nothing. He's borrowing more money, trillion more. Says, oh, he's going to pay off our national debt. He's chicken. So he cares more about his life than the welfare of the American people. He's not willing to pull a JFK on these people and tell them, you guys straighten up and fly right, or you're out of here. We don't need you. We'll get Kinko's to print our money. Get the hell out. We'll give us a payoff figure. No, Trump, do what you man, you know what? If you're a coward, then you're going to get a coward's reward. JFK was not a coward. Okay, he was a hero. He died a martyr for this. This is satanic power, the power to print the money. You think I don't know how much power that is? And how it's destroyed this country and enslaved the working class? The Labor Department's been utterly, profoundly, dramatically, and worst of all, deliberately remiss at giving adequate cost of living adjustments to minimum wage workers. Decade after decade after decade after decade after decade. Do you understand? You think you're pulling the wool over my eyes? You're not. And I'll wake up as many people as I can and empower them with the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, the way I see it, the way God has shown the light and shown me what's going on. These people are evil up one side, down the other. These people appear to be completely forsaken. Okay, that's it. I mean, their fruits are rotten and they stink to high heavens. And if they remain unrepentant, I mean, they're going to get an unrepentant man's reward. They're going to that Dante's Inferno-like place, the 9 circles of hell, man. I don't want to be there with them. And we've all got a lot of issues, organic issues. The stuff that is bugging humanity is not only this inorganic, this manufactured, invented suffering, shoved down our throats from birth by these monsters, these money masters of misery, these top money lovers who value it far more than conscience, soul. They don't care about those things. Are stupid. Those are for the foolish people. That's not pragmatic to value your conscience or your soul. We're in trouble because these people are powerful and this thing's got legs. This fascist situation in America just keeps growing. The vast majority of the jobs revolve around the problems. God help us. If desperate poverty ever fades away, these people will be utterly miserable if they can't steal the wealth of other people and have a huge advantage over people. If everybody gradually was wealthy, that's what would happen. Sound economic policy, sound money. JFK knew that. He was an egalitarian, an equalitarian. He believed in equality in the sense that everybody had the right to prosper. If there was prosperity in the land, why shouldn't they? Give me one sound reason. They're the primary producers, the blue-collar, working-class person. Are these the people you want to cheat out of fair pay, that you want to subjugate and marginalize because they're unskilled labor? Although nobody can say that their jobs aren't absolutely and utterly imperative to the welfare of society. Do you see how outrageous, how unnerving, untenable, insufferable what these people have done to us is? For God's sake, please, my friends, wake up. We're in a lot of trouble. And only God can help us. I mean, at the end of the day, always turn to God. Turn to God. Please, God, empower me. Let me empower others. Let me speak truth to power. Let me not be a coward. Let me be willing to die for this cause. I want to set the captives free because that is what you want for them, God. And what you want will happen. Okay? No ifs, ands, or buts about it. When it's written in Scripture that God's will is going to be accomplished on earth, he means business. It's going to be done. That's not a hope or a wish. That's a promise. Do you understand? That's just having an itty-bitty amount of faith in God to understand the good guy is going to win. This would be an unwatchable movie. The entire history of humanity, okay, is about to change dramatically. A sea change that is completely, absolutely, utterly unprecedented. All of human history is coming. It's called the end of an age. We've been experiencing a huge, long age. The age of the money lovers, satanic money lovers that have been bullying around God's righteous saints all this time, and it's coming to an end. And these demons, they know it's true. They know everybody's going to wake up and be empowered, and you're going to realize that, yes, we can all be free. And if you're not financially free, you're not free. Do you get it? Do you get how sound economic policies would lead there? Your money gradually started increasing in worth. Again, the VCR. Do Do you understand? If your housing cost became a nominal fee, your energy cost, do you understand? It was like nothing. Hey, it doesn't matter. So then all that's left is the stuff we want, luxury items. And God is not going to withhold it. Your parents say, well, it's not good that you bought this nice car. It's not good that you bought that nice house or that nice jet or whatever it is, that nice Rolex. Do your parents tell you you shouldn't have those things? You want them. Everybody's materialistic. I'm as materialistic as the next guy, but I know I can't enjoy it until I start seeing people stop dying and suffering needlessly out on the streets. That's it, man, because my conscience, my relationship with God is most important of all. I'm going to stand before God on Judgment Day. That day might be today, and I want to be ready. Organically, I got my issues. Believe me, I'm just like everybody else. I've got issues, and I speak about them over and over. We all have issues, right? We can't help it. Okay, we've got sin. It's the fallen state. We ate from this tree of knowledge of good and evil, this forbidden fruit, and we became ashamed of our nakedness, which is stupid. We should be just like all the other creatures. Say, well, that's immature. Why would you? But yet we're all like that. And then we think, oh, well, I'm modest, and you should be modest, and even the Bible says we should be modest in that regard. So what's wrong with modesty? But we've got to understand fundamentally, the first question God asked was, hey, you know what? Who told you? Why are you naked? Who told you? Why are you covering up? Who told you you were naked? You see, understand, we had no concept of that. And so it introduced a lot of other issues. And the most two distinctive issues we have is that one being the awareness of our nakedness, and the other one is the money, And it makes us completely distinct from all the other creatures. And we don't need these things. We could wean ourselves off money with sound economic policies. But the evildoers don't want that. That's an anathema. That's the worst possible. That they don't want that. That's antithetical to what they want. They want more and more control over the masses. They want to keep stealing from the working class, the productive class. And this is how they do it. And then they finger them. They say, oh, they blame them. Oh, the greedy minimum wage workers, they're causing inflation. Or they're not, because they're dumb, lazy, or on drugs, or something's wrong with them. They're just unskilled labor, and they need welfare now. We got to help them. Do you understand the madness I'm talking about here? It's rife. Our entire civilization is rife with madmen and madness. And you've got to fundamentally see that, and you go, oh my God, the true reality is so much different from the one that's imposed on us from birth. We've been trained to be stupid, okay, to accept this crap that's handed to us and say, oh, somehow it all makes sense, and just go along with the flow, take the path of least resistance, just do what you're told. This is what's practical and pragmatic and shows you have common sense. You go, you pay to get a good education, and then you get a good career, and you make gobs of dough, and you're successful. That's it, man. You live, you die, and that's it. That's the program. You understand? You're not supposed to question these things. You're not supposed to think the way I think, okay, and ask these hard questions about the mainstream media and what's their role, who's paying their paycheck. Okay, you and I we all know they run commercials. So, I mean, you're going to buy the product anyhow, but now they have to tack on all that extra fee for advertising, right, and write it off their taxes, and we're paying for it. You understand how this works? So we're paying for this mainstream media. They give us information, right? Isn't that what the news is? Isn't that what an educator does? A teacher? Do you understand the correlation between education and knowledge and information? You understand how this works? So the mainstream media plays a role in being the cutting edge educators, but they're absolutely and deliberately remiss. Who's behind the scenes pulling the strings on what they report, what they don't report? Okay, and the fact that they make a mountain out of a molehill, and then they turn a molehill into a mountain, because that's the way they train us. It's called propaganda. You understand? They're manipulating us. We're being manipulated very roundly by these people. They want to keep the establishment going on this trajectory toward death and destruction, and they're telling you, it's fantastic. Jobs, plenty of jobs. You're a crybaby if you don't have a good job and making a lot of money and you're not successful. And the stock market, that's it, man. That's the only two, litmus tests out there for the economy. The rest are just crybabies. Trump's going to take money from the social welfare programs. Well, great. I wish he would just completely obliterate, okay, get rid of that Section 8 housing, Trump. That's the best thing you could do for the poor. The best thing you could do. All that money's going to the pockets of fat cats, and worst of all, it's making the problem worse. That's all that 50 billion every year has been doing. And somebody's going to call me a bleeding heart liberal. Take it away now.